Hey, Jonathan and Brad, what are some other podcasts do you follow, or what are the other influencers do you follow?
Oh, this is a great question. So what podcast or influencers do you follow? So Brad, you are I know a decent number of podcasters, but you probably listen to more podcasts than any other podcast host that I know of. Who are the ones that inspire you the most?
Yeah, that is a good question. Yeah, I do. I listen to a crazy number of podcasts. Like it's almost absurd, honestly. I think the ones that I like the most. I mean, my longtime favorite is the Tim Ferriss Show. I think not. It's really as much for the guests as it is for Tim Ferriss himself. But he does a really wonderful job interviewing people, and he gets amazing guests on that are really world-class performers at their different aspects of life. So I mean that jumps out to me. That's my longtime favorite. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Peter Attia. He has a podcast called The Drive, and he's just absolutely brilliant. I'm always trying to find like these like next little, I don't know, little health hacks just to kind of stay healthy as much as I humanly can. I'm trying to, obviously it's like the 80-20 analysis of how do I still stay healthy. I actually found another podcast recently I think from Peter Tia called the Huberman Lab. And this is a neuroscientist at Stanford, this guy, Andrew Huberman, I think his name is. And it's I just found out some like cool little sleep hacks which were neat, and I'm trying to kind of help my daughter get to sleep earlier. She's now 12 and going to sleep at midnight, which is always interesting. So yeah, we're trying to put some different kind of circadian rhythm thing. Anyway, long story short, that's not all that interesting. But yeah, those jump out to me. I guess I'm a big fan of Naval Ravikant. So there's a podcast called the Naval Show, or just Naval, I think it is, Naval. That is a fantastic little just set of short little philosophies, basically. He's a multi-time guest on the Tim Ferriss Show. I'm just a huge fan of Naval. So yeah, I mean, Jonathan, without looking at my podcast app, because I'm afraid that I'm going to hang up this stereo, that's what jumps out to me. But I'll try to brainstorm. What do you listen? Do you listen to anything?
I do a lot of tutorials these days. I'm very, me, I just like adding to my skill stack. So I tend to look at more just trainings, online trainings, that sort of thing. So I spend a lot of time on Skillshare and YouTube, trying to up my skill stack. That's like my preferred method. My one, I guess dream guest or person that I just love him is Scott Adams, and he has his YouTube thing called Morning Coffee with Scott that I've really enjoyed recently. And so that's just kind of one thinker, and he's kind of all over the place. He's not really latching down, but his idea of the talent stack still sits with me to this day. I think he was the original one to talk about that. You introduced me to that idea that, instead of being like world class at like any one thing, which is probably really hard, you could just be like better than average at a bunch of different things, and you could make something completely, you could make a skill set that's very high demand and very unique, and kind of carve out your place. And that's kind of, as someone that really identified with mediocrity, uh, in so many ways, that was something I was like, all right, I could do that. I could be a little bit better than average, right? I'm not going to be Michael Phelps of anything, but I could be better than average at a bunch of different things. And yeah, I think it works. It's kind of allows you to start seeing opportunities and make connections that maybe other people are not making. And so I give him a lot of credit for that, and I hope to reach out to him at some point, maybe even in the near future, and have him come on the show and talk about his life journey. I mean, I think the book that inspired the idea of the talent stack was, and I'm going to missay the title, and I apologize ahead of time, but it was basically how to fail at nearly everything and still succeed. Am I close, Brad?
And still win big. Yep.
Still win big. Got it. And yeah, that's actually, I fail all the time, like all the time. And I remember when the fear of failure would keep me from starting something or trying something. And now, truly, mindset, I understand and respect the fact that this is a process, and failure is completely fine. And I try to use some rules around it. I try to fail in inexpensive ways. I try to fail in ways that don't demoralize me. And I try to look at those failures and figure out what could I have done better and iterate on that and be excited to get back at it. And that tiny little tweak and that shift of, it's kind of that Thomas Edison. Oh, you're such a failure. No, I know all these things that don't work. It's you kind of realize there's more truth there than, it kind of felt like a platitude when you were a kid. Nobody likes to fail. And now you're like, no, it's like a truth for life.
Yeah, I think there's something definitely to that, right? Like if you're not failing, you're just kind of staying in your lane, right? Like, are you really trying hard enough? Are you trying hard enough to learn new things, right? Like almost invariably when you learn something new, you're going to fail, right? Like that first time is going to be pretty darn difficult, but it's how you pick back up and move forward from there. And Jonathan, I think you were answering one of our future questions that I think is going to come through here, since I don't get to select them, unfortunately, but about who would our dream podcast guest be. So I think we're going to play that one here shortly. But
yeah, we'll just have to see what's in the Russian roulette of the voicemail machine, right?
We'll answer that when we come to it. But actually, two other podcasts jumped up for me. So Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, I think is one of, if not the best podcasts that exists. I think it is incredible. He is, the actor, Dax Shepard from Parenthood, super smart guy, really interesting. He's, very emotionally open. He's a brilliant interviewer. That's my new favorite show. And I'm a big fan of the Prof G show, Professor Scott Galloway from NYU. I just like the guy. So I enjoy listening to that. But yeah, that's in my very large stable of podcasts. So, all right, we're going to move on here.
On them. This is the thing. Like he actually stays up to date on all of these shows. Like there's no backlog. I don't know how you, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of
pathology at this point, but okay, we're gonna move on here. Let's see if I can kick up the next voicemail.
Send in your own voicemail by tuning into the next live event at ChooseFI.com/live.